Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. I feel like it's been so long and so snowy since we chatted last.
It has been so long. Really, it's only been a week, but yeah, I guess it's been 2 weeks because we didn't
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
to do this last week because I was stuck in Toronto because they
You,
got
you were. Tell us about that.
uh, so much snow. It was wild. I mean, I say so much snow. I like being from Atlantic Canada, it was like we've seen more. But to be in downtown Toronto, well, I guess it was like the outskirts of downtown Toronto. Like Pearson got like 46 centimeters of snow within like a day. Um, and it was just wild. Like my friend, her place is on the seventh floor, and like you look out past the balcony, and there was just nothing. It was
Yeah,
just
that's
a wall of
crazy.
snow. I'm like, and she's got all these big windows, and I'm just like, this is so weird. It's like the world didn't exist out there.
Yeah, that is super wild. For anyone who's also joining us from not Ontario, I see Buffy, you're in Ontario right now. It was like 0 degrees in Vancouver, and we haven't
Uh-huh.
had snow at all this winter, which is actually kind of sad. I know it's ruining a lot of people's like ski season, but yeah, glad that you did eventually make it home. I know you had to take a whole bunch of planes and had a bunch of like
Yeah,
flights that were done.
it wasn't
Yeah,
too bad, in the end. Like, it could have been way worse because some of the options they were giving me were just, like, absolute no-goes. Like, no,
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
going to be taking all the airplanes to get back home. That's like a 2.5-hour flight direct, if possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, but it was a little bit of a wild ride. But lucky for me, I had a book with me that we are going to continue discussing tonight, and
Oh,
my e-reader. So I was well stocked.
you were.
Um, yeah, so it wasn't, I did not waste any time.
No, no, that's good. So I'm glad that you hauled a 3.3 pound 4 ounce book with you all the way to Ontario.
It was brutal. It was brutal. I did carry on only for a week, which ended up being, well, I mean, a little less than a week, but like, especially in winter. Winter clothes are
Yeah,
heavy.
they
And I
are.
was not just going to Toronto, I was also going to Sudbury,
I know you
which
were
was
just
like
a jet setter.
minus 30 on a good day. So I had to pack all these warm clothes and a over 3-pound book, plus
Yeah.
all my work stuff. So it was a lot. Yeah, it was my backpack with my work stuff and my book was extremely heavy.
You know, though, you never would have known how much this book weighed if it wasn't for me weighing it on my kitchen scale.
I know. I know.
You inspired me after our last stream to actually find out how much it weighed so that we, could understand all of
And I
the physical impacts of carrying this book around.
and I still don't understand why it's so heavy.
No, I think that's just a question for the ages. I have no idea either. Um,
I don't
but
understand.
super happy to have folks with us today. And, if you are new to joining our stream, please say hi in the chat. I see we do have a Twitch one times Aqua. Welcome. You are new. We're so glad to have you here. And if you're just here for the vibes, that's okay. We like vibes. And we are very excited I am excited to finish talking about this book, probably for different reasons than Caitlin. I think Caitlin and I, we already know we have very different feelings about this book, but same as kind of last time, we will probably just chat generally a little bit, and then we'll let you know if you're worried about spoilers, because we'll probably dive into a few like specific details from the book. If you're anything, Caitlin?
No, I think you got it covered.
Okay, cool. All right, well, Alchemized. we're both done the book now.
Dun,
We
dun,
did. Yeah.
dun. We are
I put it too far away. So
done.
we are done the book.
Oh,
We are done. The heavy book, emotionally and physically heavy, depending on your viewpoint of the book. Caitlin, you're hilarious. And so 2 weeks ago when we chatted, we mostly talked about just kind of like the background of Alchemised, and then we talked a little bit about our part 1 feelings of Alchemised. So I guess as a bit of a recap, Caitlin was not enjoying the book on our last stream. Not your favorite.
Yeah, no, and I'm still shocked at this. Like, I did not see that coming. So it was weird. Like, I just was like, well, you know what? I'm only done part 1. You know, there's 2 more parts to go.
Yep.
There's still hope.
You were partway into part 2, though, at that point.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Yeah, like I was just dipping my toe into part 2. But, like, again, not far enough along to be like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, no, I've made up my mind on this book. So, yeah, no, let's see, what were my, like, the walks? Too many walks.
Yeah, Buffy also didn't like the walks. We'll see if she chimes in about that. Yeah. Buffy did not like the walks.
Didn't like the stupid walks.
No.
And I believe I also said that if everyone died in the end, I would not really.
Yeah, you were not emotionally attached to any of the characters.
No attachments. No attachments to any of the characters. None. And again, that was just from part 1. So I was like, you know what? Sometimes it takes a little, like, maybe it was a slow burn for me of like getting emotionally attached to these characters.
Well, we did both like, though, the setup, if I recall from last stream. Like, we both liked how we were both in a place of, like, no one had any idea what was going on. Helena didn't know what was going on. The reader didn't know what was going on. And, like, that was new, I think, for both of us in terms of a reading experience. So I think we enjoyed that quite a bit. Yeah. And I was quite enjoying the book. So I was having a very different read from you.
You were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very different.
Very different. Very different.
I feel like we almost weren't even reading the same book at certain points.
Oh, goodness. And Buffy, once again, is, chiming in that she didn't like the walks and she was glad they stopped. And yeah, they did stop for the most part. It's true. That last walk, though, can't wait to talk about that one. It's very climactic. So let's dive in then.
Should we dive into part 2 and 3? Wrap this book up? Okay.
Don't be so eager.
Have I given myself away?
You're giving yourself away. You're giving yourself away.
I mean, I was excited to, like, figure out where this was going.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And to see where we both netted out for this book. Yeah. I'm intrigued. I have some guesses, but I could be wrong.
You know what?
First time.
No, it wouldn't be. But I have a feeling your spidey senses are probably... I think our spidey senses probably know enough about each other and our reading preferences to kind of, if we were to, like, guess what it would be. But yeah. So chat, if you are here, please feel free to jump in and let us know if you've read the book. If you're done now, would love to hear from you. But yeah, let's chat. So, general vibes first. You want to do general vibes? Yeah. Before we get into spoilery stuff?
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah. Go for it.
So when we met last time, I actually had finished part 2. So I was well ahead, which I think also is a good indicator of our 2 reading experiences as well, because I was quite eager to, like, keep reading the book and see what was going on. I think that generally I enjoyed part 2. it was good to have the lead up to when Helena was put into the stasis tank and like get all of the background. It also, I think there was some parts in part two, which was very long. Part two, like, was a majority of the entire. Oh, and I can tell from your facial expressions that you have some thoughts about the length generally of probably the entire book. But yeah, I think it was good to kind of get history, and it finally filled into some more information just about, I think, the other characters that we had spoken last time we didn't feel like we had a connection to, right? So all of a sudden we knew more about Lila and Luke and Soren and like these other characters in Sebastian that were just kind of like floating around. All of a sudden we had more about them, which I think was really helpful. Also, I can't for the life of me right now, I should have written it down, but the nurse who didn't have any,
Was
she
it
doesn't.
Pate?
Pate, yes. Pate? Yeah, I think Nurse
One of
Pate.
those.
I really liked her character. I enjoyed her as like a kind of like a little side character. I think it was cool to have she kind of like bridged that gap between like the traditional healing and then using the resonance to do healing. So I thought that was cool. Yeah, but I would say part two was a little long. I won't disagree with your facial expressions. I did feel like it was a little long, but I think we could have got to kind of that ending, maybe with a little bit faster. I don't know because I finished this book probably about a week before you did. So it's not as fresh in my mind. I was going through and just kind of like writing some notes down for today's chat. So right off the top of my head, I can't think about what from part two I would cut out to make it a bit more concise, or maybe if there was some stuff that didn't add to it. But what I would say is like, I really enjoyed Nurse Pate. And then I also really enjoyed the way that Shisho's character arc kind of developed as he was working in that lab with Helena. So it's kind of my general vibes on part two. What about you?
Too long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I still wanted more from these characters. I wanted more from like I still was not getting quite what I wanted. Yeah, I still wanted more. I will say that the action definitely picked up. So, there's a couple scenes. Again, I'm not going to go into spoilers just yet. But things started to pick up a little bit. There was a little bit more action, a little bit more things happening that, some very key moments. Very key moments that happened in part two.
Yep.
That helped kind of pique my interest to keep going.
Yep.
But yeah, it still didn't quite give me what I wanted. But
Okay.
it did answer a lot. Like I will say that all the questions I had in part 1 were fairly well answered
Okay.
in part 2. So like
Yeah.
there wasn't any gaping holes from going like, "Well, what about this that I read in part 1 that doesn't seem to be explained?" And it's not like anything was really left for part 3. So I will say like well done for making sure that the continuity between part 1 and part 2 did make sense,
Okay.
which can be difficult because
Yeah.
you're kind of almost writing in reverse. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, that would be my like
Okay.
general vibe.
Before we kind of get into like spoilers for part two, I, I'm just, or even for part three, I guess, a question I've had for you is like, if we weren't reading this book together, would you have DNF'd it?
Probably not.
Tell me more.
And I don't because it takes a lot for like I'm still like Like, it wasn't I don't know. I don't know why I probably wouldn't have DNF'd it, but I don't maybe I was just holding out hope.
Okay. You
So,
had
like,
high
funny story
expectations.
I did. Well, not even high expectations, but like just because it was so talked about and like it seemed like just a general mass of people were reading this. And it was so funny because actually, this kind of sums it up where I was on the plane with this chunker of a book on my lap,
Yep.
and one of the flight attendants goes, "Oh, I see a lot of people reading this book." And I'm like, "You know what? Also, to be a flight attendant, like to see people in what they're reading, I would probably be the nosiest flight attendant. I'd be a terrible flight attendant just because I'd be like, "What are you reading? What do you think about it? Oh, you want snacks, right? I got to go do that. But like tell me more about your book." But that's a little side piece. But she was like, "Oh, I've seen a lot of people reading this book. Like, what do you think?" And I was like, I don't know." And I had the book shut. So she didn't know where I was at. And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Well, I heard maybe it's one of those books that like gets better like near the like as you get going." I'm like, "Oh, that's probably it." Like, yeah, for sure. So then when she's coming back around giving out snacks and beverages, she goes, "Girl, you're really far in that book. I don't think it's going to happen for you."
Oh, that flight attendant's great. She gets gold stars. That's awesome.
So I was like, "You're probably right." Like I was still holding on to hope. And she was just like, "Girl, I don't think it's gonna happen for you."
That's
like,
awesome.
she's like, "You're really far in this big book." And yeah, like I think she thought maybe I was like halfway through or not even. But I
That's
had
funny.
like probably like that much of the big book left. So that kind
That,
of I think perfectly describes why I wouldn't have DNF'd it because I think I was just grasping on to those last little shreds of maybe this book will turn around and it will be a winner for me.
yeah. You know what? I think that's super fair.
Yeah.
If chat, if you felt at any point in time you were going to DNF this book, please drop us a note. Let us know. Would love to hear your experience. At no point in time did I feel like I was going to DNF this book. I was I was in it from pretty
You
soon
were
in.
invested.
I was very invested. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I think we should give a little spoiler warning. We can start talking a little bit about the meat of it. And, I think we might as well also just kind of jump in for like part 3 as well. I know you're very eager to wrap this story up, Caitlin. So I guess before we kind of get into some of the specifics about part 2 and part 3, once you finish, I think I know your answer, but once you finish part 2, because part 2 is where the end of part 2 is where there's a lot of action, right? That's where we see the bombing of the lab, Bennett's lab. That's where we see Helena get captured. Was there any change for you? Like, did things start landing differently once you got through kind of those exciting parts of the story?
I think they weren't like I would have wanted more from those parts, I think. Like I found those parts not I wouldn't say like felt rushed, but compared to how much time was spent in the other parts, like I feel
Mm,
like more could have like it felt a little rushed. It was like, "Oh, this is happening," and then and then it's like over, and then we're back to the meeting or like those. Like I feel like I wanted more from those sections versus some of the like repetitive.
yeah, okay.
I still, and I guess that's the point is that I found a lot of parts were repetitive in the actions of like they meet up, they go for walks, they go outside, they meet up, they trade information, da 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 da, and it was just like it didn't quite
You'd be a
give
terrible
me
intel
enough.
officer.
Well, I'm trying not to do any spoilers right
No,
now.
no, we can do spoilers. I already said we're going to do
Oh,
spoilers.
okay.
Yeah, no,
But
you'd be
no,
a
but I
terrible
just found
intel
like
officer.
But I just found, like, I didn't get anything from that. Like, it just didn't like, and I get that it was trying to, like, build on their relationship or their
Yeah.
lack of or their, like, tumultuous relationship, but it just wasn't like I found the scenes where, action is happening, like that showed more character building, that showed more
Mm,
of the intensity of what they were going through.
okay.
And I feel like the others, like the meetups and those interactions were important, just not necessarily maybe at that volume
Okay, too much, like
or
too, it was
frequency.
too slow of a burn for you. You wanted to get through the intel gathering faster and get more to the wars.
But even then, like you didn't get enough of the intel. Like I would want to know more of the details of like what's going on. Like I'd want to
Yeah.
know more of like who's doing what, who's
Hmm.
like you didn't get insight into the
Yeah.
intel that was being like you got little snippets or like after the fact, but it was just like, oh, like that would
Yeah.
have been cool to know more of. Like more of the going ons between
Yeah.
like
Okay.
what's happening
In the
outside of
war.
their meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
In the
Yes.
war itself. Okay. It's
Yeah.
Buffy's
Yeah.
saying the end of part 2 is what hooked her finally on the book. And then she's also saying that she loved that they wore each other down when they weren't meaning to. And that Helena still fell for him anyway. And I think that is definitely part of what I enjoyed about the book as well, is seeing the way the relationship kind of came about and how she was trying to resist the way she felt about Kane and that sort of thing. One of the things
I had mixed
that,
feelings about that. I had mixed feelings about that. Because it made me question. Like, I don't know if she ever truly loved him. I don't know. I don't, like, I know. And I actually wrote this down.
uh-oh.
So, part 2, I said, explained a lot as to why I can't stand Helena. And it was page 825. I wrote down 825 sealed it for me. I'm going to go to our.
I feel like this
like
is
I'm
an
like,
encyclopedia. Like it's
I know. I was like, I feel like I'm looking up like a law journal or something. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's like she's saying like he's like you need to go or whatever, and he's like no, like she's like and he's like you gave me your word, you gave your word, and
yeah.
Helena met his eyes. You know I will always choose the eternal flame first. What? Why? Have we not discovered? Like, she is literally shutting him down so hard, being like, you will never be my number one. Like, that to me. But I also have feelings about the eternal flame, which I think is what makes me so
Yeah, you
angry
said
about
you think it's
this
a
and
cult.
feel bad. It's totally a
It
cult.
is totally a cult. So I
Totally a cult. Because everything they believe and that they've been told about the eternal flame is
yeah,
complete bullshit.
it is. Yes, it's all been
And she
fabricated.
knows it at this point.
She
She
does.
knows that it's
She does.
bullshit. And she's still saying, I
Yeah.
will always choose that over you. Terrible human being.
Well,
Terrible. No. No.
maybe. I so I did have highlighted from part 2 about when she kind of clues into the way that she's being used. So it's almost like 300 pages before what you just referenced, but it's
Right.
when Penny is talking to her and basically is like, hey, we just need to pray more. We just need to do these things. And Helena knows that all of the actions that her and Kane are taking to help them, the story is being manipulated for the followers, right? So like 100%. And that's
Right.
where she's like seeing almost like that like she's
But it wasn't
expendable,
just
but it's a
them.
betrayal. No.
But at the same time, that's what also made me angry because she knows. She
does.
now knows. She's gotten peek behind the curtain and she does nothing. Nothing to stop it.
Yeah, I think this comes down to, I think it's not as cut and dry for me with with her
But
character, but I can
But
understand
again, like that's the
your
thing. Like I would
perspective.
have wanted more from her. I was just like, this is
Yeah.
not her redemption story. This is not like she just was like, "Oh, I do what I'm told. I'm just a healer. Poor me." And then I'm like she could have destroyed,
Yeah.
she could have done big things. She had the power. She has the resident. Like she's got all the things going for her,
Yep.
and she just kind of wastes it. And
Mm.
and I get some of the decisions she made,
Yep.
but at the same time there was so much more potential.
Mm.
And that's, I think, where that this part 2 really left me disappointed, because I was like really holding out hope.
That she was
And like I
gonna
said,
like turn things around a little
yeah.
bit.
And
Interesting.
and again, yeah. I just,
Yeah.
so
I
much
mean,
potential, and it just didn't quite hit for me.
I think this is I've always felt her character oh, Buffy, what you just said is so true too. She had the power but in the end was forgotten. Whew.
She deserved it. She didn't do anything to deserve to be remembered. I know.
Wow. Okay. That is a hot take. I don't know about that.
Like,
I don't know about that, Caitlin. It definitely
I mean,
she bombed the lab.
she
Like
did that to save him. She only did that to save Kane. That was it. And I get that. And I was proud of her for that. I was
okay.
like, good for you. That is about the only thing, though. She could have
I
done more.
maybe. You're
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I'm
she's very between the I think she's very between the values and like the system that obviously she was raised in, and like these long relationships these that she has with these people, and like the period of time when her and Kane are together, like it's only a couple of months, right? So I
mm,
can understand where she's still very committed to supporting the cause and trying to ensure that the Undying don't win the war, and that she is keeping that as her North Star in a way. But I think that especially getting into part 3, she's starting to realize more of the impact that she's had, right? Like she's starting to understand that
right.
her own actions have created Kane, have created like the circumstances, right? So I did like that. But yeah, in chapter 65, when they finally like do the bombing, when she finally bombs the Bennett's lab, that was a wonderful, like that was probably the most exciting chapter in the book, for sure, for me. Like I really enjoyed how it kind of like finally showed what she was capable of, I guess, in a way. And like when she was able to use the necromancy and like she figured out all of the places where the bombs are going to get dropped. The fact that she was able to fight off so many people, and really it ended up just being like Kane's father. And if it hadn't been Kane's father, or she hadn't figured out that it was Kane's father because of that like necklace or whatever he had on, maybe she would have gotten away. Right. So it was interesting that way. And it made me think of earlier in the book, a few chapters, when they do the rescue for Luke, when she uses necromancy on Soren and they have that fight. They make a conscious decision not to get the talisman for Kane's father. He's the one that's guarding the room that Luke is in. And it's kind of like hindsight's 2020. Had you just got the talisman, you probably would have got away after the bombing, right? Like, because he wouldn't have been there, right? Potentially, maybe Lancaster wouldn't have either. So, and then I also really liked that we see why Lancaster, like, I mean, he's obviously a terrible psychotic person anyway, but like why he has it out for her so specifically. That comes about, right? Because we see him in this battle scene, and yeah.
And that's the other thing too, like that whole scene when they're going to rescue Luke. Again, like that whole thing with Soren and the necromancy and all that, like that, like again, I was just like, if I knew more about Soren, if I had more of an attachment, that would have been very impactful. That could have been a Liam fourth wing equivalent. But
you didn't know enough about him.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't invested in the characters, but like that could have been a very powerful scene because she's doing a necromancy and like she's following his wishes.
Yep.
And like he is the reason that they all get out. Like that is the one thing that gets them all out of that situation for the most part. Like, or buys them time at least.
Yep.
But like that could have had so much more of an impact, but it just didn't. Like, I feel like that could be a part of the story that gets forgotten.
Yeah. I found
but that is to me like a huge that could have been like a very big part of the book. And I just like, I really wanted to feel bad that Soren was gone because I was like, oh, that really, like that whole thing would have been really, and like I visualize things when I'm reading it, so I was like, oh man, like this could be a very impactful, like visually this would be really hard to watch. But at the end of it, I was just like, okay, like
I did find it
for her. That's gonna have repercussions.
I did find that was impactful, that whole scene. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, it wasn't as impactful as like Liam, from that perspective. So I get that too.
It chokes me up every time I think about it.
Every time. The other thing that I liked, or I guess that was a surprise for me in part 2, and maybe it shouldn't have been, but I was surprised when we found out that Lila was a Vivimancer. Right? That she had powers as well, because that would have been, obviously not looked on well, and she already had struggles being the paladin. Yes, because of the cult.
Wouldn't like it.
Yeah, because the cult wouldn't like it. Well, and we do learn more about that too.
The true evil in this book is
the patriarchy. Well, I mean, I think the Undying's also kind of evil.
Oh, of course. But like anytime necromancy is involved, like,
Yeah.
But the eternal flame.
So you're not endorsing necromancy.
No, absolutely not. And I feel like it would be a horrible, horrible life to live. But and like the undead, like they're just like all of that whole side is just wrong. And obviously, again, the power, like that just shows like it's like that's cult B over here.
Yeah.
But the true problem from the get-go is the eternal flame. That is like, they are the reason. Like this whole thing, like when you find out like the whole myth of Orion and all this stuff, like it's all bullshit. Like this is the problem. They are the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cult.
So
yeah.
And you know what? I love a good cult story. Don't get me wrong.
I know you do.
Love a good cult story, but it just that really, like, that kind of overshadowed everything for me, I think.
Okay.
It's just the lack of action, the inaction, part 3. Oh, sorry. Are we like? I'm not. We can keep going on part 2. Trust me.
Well, no, I was going to ask you a question, but I do want to say hi to. We have someone new join us in the chat. 404 error loading name. It's very long. We'll just call you 404. Anyway, welcome. No clue what this book is about. Well, if you haven't read it, then I think you'll find it interesting because we have had very different reads. But just to give you a quick little background. It is a romantasy set in a high fantasy world. It is based off of fan fiction written by the same author called Manacle, which was based off of Harry Potter. So she then changed it so that it could be published, and that's how we got Alchemized. Yeah, so we are just wrapping up. There are some spoilers here, but we are just wrapping up talking about part 2 of the book. It is fan fiction. Yeah, it's a hefty book. It's 3.3 pounds and 4 ounces. So we did weigh it. And we're just kind of we're talking about our reads. So, we've got an FMC and a morally gray MMC, and that's where we're at right now. So, do we want then, Caitlin, is there anything else that stood out for you in part 2? Because, like, I think at the end of part 2, when we realize that Luke has been taken over by the High Necromancer, right? And that the High Necromancer is actually, I don't even remember what his name was, but like the original
Sentus or something.
Yeah.
Sentus?
The original necromancer, thousands of years old and all that good stuff. Then I think
Orion's brother.
Yes, Orion's brother. It did kind of, for me, I was kind of like, that's why Luke is such an asshole. That's why he's on the opium. Because we don't really get to see what Luke is like without him being, having like the High Necromancer in him. So that was it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a true like aha moment for me, but I was like, all right, that kind of makes sense. So that was something that I enjoyed. It like tied it together. And I did like that scene as well, when she does like put it together and figures it out, what's happening before they get captured. So
yeah, still not a fan of Luke, but again, I'm not a fan of anybody in this book, honestly.
I know you're not. All right, well,
yeah,
part 3.
Well, the other thing too, the other scene that I really just before, and like again, I think there was potential, was the scene where she gets the note to go to the front line or goes to the hospital, like where she gets injured in the chest. That whole scene, I was like, this is again some of those intense moments that then just like stop. And I get it. Like, so I just feel like there was you know what? Actually, there's one character that I enjoyed in the book. And that was the, I can't remember his creature.
Oh, yeah. Amaris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did like her. And it wasn't her fault that she was like, I did like that, like,
Amaris.
he heals her, and that's how he like tamed her and all that stuff, and that she didn't leave, and that was probably that was my number one character.
But in the book. Of course. So 404, I have not read anything specific to necromancy, but this is like the spin is like good versus evil in this book. So the necromancy is used by one side of the war, and then there's kind of like a religious sect that we've identified as being a little bit of a cult, that is supposed to be like the good side of the war. So I think, Caitlin, you're actually the one that has said this to me before, is like, you don't know someone's dead until you've seen the body. You can't say that they're dead when you read the book until you've seen the body, right? So I was a little bit surprised about Lila being alive. And I think that's because earlier in the book, they described her as guarding like the gate in her undying body, right? So I think that must be explained by them taking someone else's body and like putting a leg on it. Yeah, a decoy. So it was good to see. Like, I was kind of surprised, but not surprised
Well,
that she was
she needed
alive in part
content to
3,
potentially write she needed content to
right?
potentially write book 2.
I don't think there'll be a book 2, but
I
yes, I
don't
do
know.
agree.
No, it doesn't need there doesn't
I don't
necessarily
think there
need to
will be,
be.
no. Um,
Um,
and I did like that when we come back to the present, there was that one scene, so that final walk, Buffy, the final walk that they do out into I know, out into the courtyard when what is the horrible wife's name again?
Orally.
Aurelia.
Aurelia, yeah.
Aurelia, when Aurelia
Aurelia.
is like murdered by Cain's father, and then as that progresses, Ivy eventually like saves the day, right? She kind of like has a bit of a redemption arc in terms of she's the one who kind of screwed them all over in the first place. It was the best walk, Buffy. But she screwed them all over. And then, she came back with the pieces of, well, actually, the High Necromancer's entire arm so that they could end up doing the talisman, right? And taking the talisman and then doing the like 5-pointed thing that I can't remember what it's called, but do the whole thing so that Cain can have a different soul. I cried when he said he was sorry to the servants.
That was probably I thought you were gonna say like I cried for the whole father son bond thing. Like
No.
no.
For the servants,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially the lady that like raised him. She was the last one to drop when that whole thing happened. And I cried. I think there's 2 times in the book. No, 2 times in the book I cried. That was one of them. And then the other time was when we think that he's going to put down his chimera, Amorous, and then he doesn't, right? And they have that like whole exchange. Like those were, I think, the 2 times in the book. But yeah, I did find that was like pretty emotional. No, I didn't have that like the father-son moment made sense. I don't think it like redeemed the father at all. It was nice to know that he didn't know anything about he didn't know anything about what had happened to his wife, which seems suspicious. But that's how she wrote it. So, like, how did you not know?
He was too power hungry. Because he loved his wife, but he was just too busy doing his own thing, being an idiot.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so I did.
Too late.
Too little, too late. But I did, I did like I did also like that Amorous, the arc of Amorous, and like how she shows back up later.
I know.
That was wonderful.
I had no weepy, teary moments. Not even close to.
Well, no, because you didn't care if any of them were going to die anyway. So what?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So why did that
there were
matter?
no moments, and I was like, maybe no, none. And part 3 just made it even more apparent that I was just like I feel like part 2, I was like, okay, answers to questions, understanding what's going on. Part 3, I was like, I just want to be done this book so I can read my next book.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't help that you were also lugging it around Ontario and stranded in Toronto, but yes.
It just, and even the way it all came together, like, I just...
Yeah.
It just kind of all fell flat for me. Like, it was one of those, like, everybody, like, not everybody lives happily ever after, but the survivors live happily ever after. Yeah. Lila goes back and her son, and they're gonna, like, keep the cult going, keep the lie going. No one's gonna tell the truth.
No. Well, but no one else knows the truth. only Kane and
Yeah,
Helena know the truth, right? So I think that, well, and I guess their daughter. But it's interesting
yeah.
that you say that because I actually, the end of this book was too tidy for me. Like,
It
because
was
of,
very tidy.
it was very tidy. And like, and the picture at the back is horrible. Like,
Oh yeah.
this is like a throwback to the terrible drawings in Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal.
Yeah.
But without being spicy. But yeah, that like this like sketchy the sketchy photo. So it was too tidy, especially because, you know, if you did enjoy the book, it was potentially like emotionally like heavy, right? Like this whole thing was heavy, and then to have everything be so neat and tidy at the end, that actually is why that is the main reason as to why I am rating this star what I will be rating it. Are we ready to talk about that?
Ooh, I think so.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay, so this for me is a 4-star read.
Okay.
And it is a 4-star read because of the ending.
Okay. Oh, because it would have been a 5.
It would have been a 5. I think it was too neat and tidy. I did enjoy that they made it to the island, and like that was their whole, you know, that was how they like escaped. But I kind of thought that Kane was gonna die. And the fact that he didn't die is something that is a little bit like threw me off a little bit. So yeah, so 4-star read was too tidy, and I think everything you just mentioned about like continuing the school and like Lila going back, and then we see, you know, 15 or however many years into the future when their daughter is suddenly there, and like I didn't enjoy the book, like when she goes, like when, like Buffy said, like she gets erased, right? Like she isn't remembered for anything. And it's because they've never told the story. But like I couldn't imagine how hard
Right.
that would be, right? Like as you know the story and what your parents really did, but like because of the
Mm.
cult of the eternal flame and like the way the history is written, you know, the hit that's never going to come out. So that is why for me this is a 4-star. It's not a 5-star
Okay.
book. Yeah. What about you?
Uh, I gave this book a 2.
A 2?
2.
I can't
Yeah,
even I can't even
I don't
give
give
you
2s very often. I don't give 2s very often, we know. Yeah, no, it had to be a 2.
2. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is funny because on my OBS overlay, I have star ratings for us. And I know you can't see it. I don't have
I
a
can
2-star for you. I don't. I have a 3-star because I didn't think we would ever pick a book that would be a 2-star for you. So like I can't even put up your star rating.
Oh
Like
no.
how
I'm trying to copy.
hilarious is that?
I gave it a
Oh,
2.
you gave it a
2.
2. I totally thought you were going to give it a 3.
Sorry for
Wow.
coughing in your ear.
Okay.
I
Well,
know.
I clearly
I'm a
need to
little under the
update my
weather.
overlay.
I know, 2. And that's why I didn't tell you, because I'm like, she's never gonna see this one coming.
Buffy.
Yeah.
Buffy gave it a 3 stars. So that's interesting. Okay, 3 stars. All right. Okay. Buffy, what did you give?
Yeah.
You read Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal with us. What did you give that one? I feel like you gave it a 3. Oh, because of the length. Okay. Yeah, it was long. And you did
And
it
just
as audiobook, so it must have been like 25 hours or something.
and just for to note that on Goodreads, Alchemized is coming in at a 4.4.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Um, it is.
Int-
Yeah, I did look it up because I was like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not. I don't know if I'm necessarily the minority on this. I would say
Hmm.
I'm definitely not. I would
Yeah.
say I'm definitely not majority because I've talked to a few people, um, and there's been people in my camp and there's been people in your camp. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. It seems like
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't say it's like a very divided, but there is like more than I'm used to seeing with a very popular book.
Okay. It's I would say though, like, even with that like tidy ending, which is why it wasn't like a 5-star read for me, I did still enjoy. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed this, the story arc. I don't give half stars, so it wasn't. If it's not a 5-star, like 100%, then it's not a 5-star, right? Like I knew once I got into part 3, I knew it wasn't going to be a 5-star read. And I can I mean, it is a big book, but we've read other really long books before that
Oh,
that we've enjoyed,
absolutely.
right? So,
I've read
um,
longer, and like I said, I what gave me the 2 was that like I could not wait to finish this book. And not because I was anxious to find out how it ended.
okay.
I was
But
just
you
like,
wanted
I
to
need
be
to
like
move
over and
on.
done with.
I want to read. I'm like, I have other books sitting there waiting for me that I want to
Yeah,
be reading instead of this thing. And that
hilarious.
was what I was like, yeah, this I
Yeah.
can't. It's got to be a 2.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
the other thing that I thought I should mention, because we spent some time talking about this in our first stream, was about, we talked about what a romantasy is and like how a romantasy is defined and what and like a fantasy, etc. And high fantasy. And I have to say that by the end of part 3, I fully changed my mind. I'm like, this is a romantasy, um, because I had more of that like story. And I think too, because both Helena and Kane were still alive at the end. Someone should
Yeah.
have died. Like, I think
Not
like
enough death.
they, well, like, I think for like, just because of how, dark and twisty this whole war was, and all of the physical things they each overcame, it seemed, I'm not gonna say unrealistic because it's a fantasy book, but like it felt to me like I was surprised that they both made it through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so
That's fair.
yes, romantasy. I'm on the romantasy page now. But also 4 stars for me, 2 stars for Caitlin, and I can't even put it up for you.
Oh,
Too
this is the
funny.
problem of being live. I'm like trying
Coughing.
not to sneeze and cough.
Yeah, Caitlin's sick, everybody. Caitlin's sick. Okay,
I
cool.
am. I'm really trying to hold it together here. Um,
So
yeah.
so in the chat, if you did read the book, curious if if you what you gave this as a star rating, but then also, I want to know, would anyone recommend this book? Because we also have
Mm.
talked about like, I would never recommend a 2-star book, but you have recommended 2-star books. So I'm curious now if you would recommend this book to people.
I would be very honest and say like I know this is a popular book. If you like I would say like don't go based just on my pure
Yeah.
recommendation, but I personally did not enjoy it,
Mm,
but a lot of others do. So I will
yeah.
never be one to like there's some books that I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, absolutely do not read this."
Okay.
But for this one specifically because I know there are people who really enjoy it,
Like
I
me.
never want to right, like, I never want to be like, "Oh my god, do not read this because I
Hmm.
didn't like it."
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I would be very honest. I'd be like, "It wasn't my
Wasn't for you.
preference. It wasn't
Yeah.
my like, I didn't overly enjoy it." There are other books that I would
Yep.
happily say like, "Oh my gosh, I love this book."
Yep.
But at the same time, I can recommend a book that I love and they can absolutely hate it. So, like,
Yep.
I kind of like, I will never it's very rare that I will be like, "Do not read this book." There are some,
Yeah.
but
You
it's like
know,
everybody reads for their own reason, right? So,
I think that's a good actually like segue into what we were going to talk about next, because we were going to talk about what we have been reading in the month of January. Now that it's February 1st, what else we
I know.
read
Crazy.
this month, right? So,
Yeah.
so I know, why don't you kick it off? Why don't you tell us what
Okay.
else you read? What were you excited to get to when you finally finished
Yeah.
Alchemized?
I read quite a few books this year. This year. Well, I guess it is technically this year
It is
because
this
we're
year.
1 month
Yeah.
into the year.
Yeah.
I think I'm up to like 6 books read this
Okay.
past month, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I've completed 6 books. So,
I'm just pulling up my
I've read 2
Goodreads.
books since. I know, that's why I was like, I think I'm at 6, which I mean
Yeah.
is a solid like
Yeah.
January is a very long month.
It is. Yeah.
But it was also a very busy month for me too. Like I was
Yep.
traveling, work was insane. So the fact that I fit 6 books into and this is one of the beast of a books.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I was very impressed with myself. Um and so the 2 books that I ended up reading, following Alchemized, I
Yep.
had them on hold with Libby for quite a while through ebooks. So
Yeah.
I knew like as soon as they came in, I needed to get to them. So that's part of the reason I think I was itching to like finish Alchemized because I wanted to make sure that I had it done, for us to talk about it. But I read The Correspondent by Virginia Evans.
Okay.
And I've heard really good things about this book. It's all told through letters and emails.
Yeah.
So there's no actual, and it's really like, and that's the only thing I really knew about it. So it's about a Sybil who is a 7-year-old woman, and it just the way it was done was so smart and was very quick. Like it's not a huge book. But it was so quick to read through it, and like I was invested again
Mm-hmm.
through letters.
Yeah.
And it like she's got children. She's not just emailing or messaging people that she knows. It was just a really heartwarming story. That it's exactly what I needed. It was cozy, it was cute, it was easy to read. I mean, there was some, and it was heartfelt. Like
Yeah.
I can see why a lot of people are talking about it right now. And I gave it, what did I give it? I think I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah.
Really,
That's awesome.
really enjoyed it. Yeah. So I would recommend that to people because
Okay.
it is just it's different too.
Yeah.
The other one that I just finished reading was called The Compound. This book, I still don't really know what I read. It's kind of like it has like when you look at like tags of books, it has like dystopian, which I love a good dystopian book. But basically it's this story of these like there's the main character Lila who wakes up in this house, and it turns out she is one of the contestants or like participants of a reality TV show.
Oh.
And there's 10 girls, 10 guys, but the guys aren't there yet. And they basically have to like it's kind of like
Big
Big Brother
Brother.
meets Love Island type, like
Okay.
because they're supposed to see if they have connections with the guys, and like then they can do these tasks as a team to win rewards for the house, like
Oh,
as
okay.
far as food goes, toilet
Yeah.
paper, like just like essential daily things, a couch, like so there's certain things that are missing in this place. And then they can do personal tasks to get like, and it's all like very like sponsored by like you're supposed to, it's very like influencer type thing.
Okay.
So it was interesting um where it was going, but at the same time it was a weird
Yeah.
read. Like it just kind of talked, I think it was more of the like what kept me invested was this like more the psychological of like just in general reality TV shows. I'm not a huge fan of those types of reality TV shows, but I mean, it was just not what I expected, and it just
Okay.
kind of ended, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
All right.
Again, short read. I've heard some things like I got it from another reader that
Yeah.
had talked about it and said they liked it, and I was like, okay.
Cool.
So, and I don't even know. I think I might have gave that a 3. Yeah, I gave it a 3. But
You
it's like
gave
a
it
low
more
3.
stars than Alchemized.
Yeah, because it was I wanted to know what happened.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. That's fine. Buffy, I think 12
Yeah.
books is definitely a good goal for you for this year.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, that is awesome. And if you keep up with us at all, you'll have no problem because we'll at least be talking about a book a month. So I think that's good.
And I mean, the fact that Alchemized was one of your
One
books,
of
like
them,
that's the equivalent
right?
of like 5 books. Let's be honest.
That's funny. It's true. It is very large. So including Alchemized, I read 9 books in January.
Look at you go.
Yeah, and I had a number
You're
of,
gonna be done your challenge by
I
like
know,
April.
I had a number of audiobooks on there. So I do like,
That
I find
counts.
I'm
That
normally, yes, it
counts.
does. But I do find like if I'm washing, washing dishes or like
Yeah.
doing something, it's easy. It's easy to flip between an audiobook and then a paper book, like a hardcover. I find it's harder for me to have multiple books going if I'm physically reading them
Yeah,
all. So
that's fair.
Caitlin, I will give you mad props because this book was wonderful.
I love Abby Jimenez. I love that author.
This book was wonderful. I think I've read it in like 2 or 3 days. It was an easy read. I really liked the story. I literally was at it's library book, so I was at the New West Library, and it was there, and I was like, oh, this was on one of Caitlin's. It was one of her top 10 reads of 2025. So like, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna read it. I really liked it. Like it was just really great, and I liked that for a love story. There was still so much else going on in the book when it came to is her name Poppy? What is her name? The
I remember. It's been a while since I read that one.
I know, and I've read a few books now. Xavier and Samantha. So, so like there was just so much going on in Samantha and Xavier's lives outside of the romance that it was really good, and the whole plot line with her family was also fantastic. So I really liked it. I don't know what I rated it on Goodreads, but let's take a peek because I have my phone open.
I will say I love Abby Jimenez. She has a new book coming out this year, actually. It's coming out, I think, fairly soon. So we may want to add that to our list.
We might, together. This was great.
The thing I love about I've enjoyed in all her books is I like her characters and I like the banter. I find them like it's not just a look at me type. Like I just love the kind of back and forth banter between all of her characters. So I like there has not been an Abby Jimenez book that I have not read that I have not loved.
So I got to return this because I'm sure it's due soon, but it was very good. So I gave
glad
4.
You liked it.
I did. I gave it 4 stars. I'm not a big traditional romance reader, so this was actually probably one of the best ones I've read. But do you know what else I read? That is, I was on a bit of a Caitlin recommendation kick. I read Butcher and Blackbird.
I'm so intrigued to hear what you think. She's spicy.
It was spicy. It was a weird way. It was a weird, spicy book. I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
Out of 5. Butcher. Well, I won't give any spoilers then, Buffy. I gave it 3. I think it I physically read it. This was me not paying attention because I thought when I got it from Libby, I thought I had got it as an audiobook. And then I couldn't figure out why I couldn't play it in the car. I was like, what is happening? Why is it not loading on CarPlay? And then when I finally opened it on my phone, I was like, oh, you silly person. You need to read this. So I did. It didn't take long to read. I don't know if I'll read. I don't know if I'll read any more of the series. I know it's the first one in the series.
Okay.
So, but I 3-star doesn't mean I wouldn't read the next one, because I've read series before where I've given the first book 3 stars, and then by the time I get into like the second book or the third book, like the star rating has increased. But it's there's some weird shit in it, Buffy. There's some weird shit in this book. Just be prepared. If you're audiobooking this while you're on your way to work, like, people, you might make some funny faces. Some of this stuff is wild.
There are trigger warnings at the start of the book, and I would recommend that you do read them, so you're just at least prepared.
Yeah. But I didn't find it. I read the trigger warnings, and I didn't find it, like, there's some weird stuff.
No, but you're like, what am I going to be reading?
I actually thought it was funny. Like, it was a comedic dark romantasy. Like, it was dark romance. Yeah, it was funny.
And so
I will say that.
The premise of the book, without giving any spoilers, is that there's these people, unalive people. Like, that is legitimately, like, what they do.
They're serial killers.
And it's a romance story between 2 serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, like, I've read the whole series.
Okay.
Because there's 3 books. I would say that, to your point, like, where you like, as you get into the series, you might give higher ratings. I don't know if you would with this one, because they're all very similar. But I enjoy, like, they were good quick reads for me that were like
it was
easy
quick
to follow, entertaining,
spicy.
I love a good serial killer. Yeah, there was some different spice for sure.
Definitely spicy.
And I do enjoy the way that the author writes.
Okay.
So, funny enough, when I was visiting you in Vancouver, and we went to the bookstore, and I picked up Tourist Season, it's the same author.
The same author. I actually did see that. Yeah, okay. I did see that. And you like Tourist Season.
That. And funny enough, I didn't realize that it was I had already read all 3 books in this series and didn't realize that this was the same author. And I believe she might be Canadian. I could be, I think she is. Fact check that.
I think she is Canadian. Yeah.
So
PEI. I think she's either from PEI or she now lives in PEI. She might be an American who moved here.
East Coast.
I know, right?
East Coasters are getting all the good authors these days. We've got Rachel Reed. We've got.
It's true.
Why can't I think of her name right now? Of who wrote Butcher and Blackbird? That's terrible.
Bryn Weaver. Because I have it in front of me.
I was like, I knew it. I have Tourist Season behind me. So.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shout this one out for Buffy, because I know that Buffy and I are both fans of the Thursday Murder Club series, which is Richard Osman and Caitlin. I think you've read some of them too. So
I read one, the first one.
Okay, so I read We Solve Murders. I also got that one from the library. This is a new series, same idea, but like it's a new series of characters for him, and I quite liked it. It was good. And then on Friday night, I watched the Thursday Murder Club movie on Netflix. And I know we've talked, book versus movie. And now this will get me on another tangent, but I liked the movie. It was light. I think it did a justice to the story, and I actually really loved that Pierce Brosnan is in it.
I thought I saw him in it.
And Helen Mirren is in it, and she's she plays Elizabeth, and like it was really good. So I hope Netflix turns a few more of the books into movies. Like it was quite good. I liked it. It was good. But so 9 books. Those are some of the other ones that I read. I've reviewed a few too on our socials if you're curious what the other ones were, and maybe we can do like some posts just to like show what we read in January. But
that is what we will. Yes, make sure to be following us on our socials. We're on Instagram and the TikTok. And we're going to try and keep, because, it's great that we do these books together, that we read together and, chat about them. But I also think, being such avid readers that, it's fun to talk about all the other books that we're reading that not necessarily 100%. Reading together. So, and that's how I build my TBR pile, is listening to other people talk about books that they've read. So
So speaking of
yeah.
books that we read together,
Mhm.
do you want to tell
Are we ready
everyone
to
what
announce
our
our next
next
one?
book is going to be? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it's interesting because you kind of brought this forward, which I'm
I
still a little
did.
shocked by
I
it.
am too.
Um, but yeah, and I'd say I'm even more excited about it now because I don't know if you've watched on Netflix, but this author has a book or a yeah, one of her books
Yep.
has been turned into a movie that is currently featured on Netflix. That goes by a little People We Meet on Vacation.
Yeah.
So we are going to be reading Emily Henry. Making sure we're getting this in
Great,
frame.
big, beautiful life,
Yes.
which is
I
also
know nothing about this
romance.
book.
I know nothing about
I
it
know
either.
nothing about this book. Um,
Yeah, I don't know
but
anything about it either.
I do enjoy Emily Henry. How do you feel about Emily Henry books, Erin?
Okay. So it's interesting. So I've read 4 Emily Henry books. And I read them in 2023, perhaps. 2023, I think, is when or
Okay. You went all
maybe
in.
one of them in 2024. I would have to go back and look. But I've read The People We Meet on Vacation, Book
Mm-hmm.
Lovers. I'm gonna have to go look up what the other two were.
Funny
Uh,
story.
Funny Story, and I'm just gonna look.
Oh, I can't. I'm blanking on the other one. I've read it.
Look. I'm gonna look. I should have wrote this down before.
Happy Place
Happy Place. And I think Happy Place was the last
or
book.
Beach Read.
So I've read Happy Place, Beach Read, so not Funny Story. Happy Place, Beach Read, Book Lovers, and The
Okay.
People We Meet on Vacation. Okay, those are the 4 Emily Henry books that I've read. And I enjoyed, I don't know which one I read first, but the first one that I read, it might have been People We Meet on Vacation. Either that or it was actually, I think it might have been Beach Read. Whatever it was that I read, I was
Okay.
like, I like this. I like this author. This was like an easy read. It was good.
Yeah.
So then I've continued to read more of them. And the last Emily Henry book I read was Happy Place. And I told myself I would never read another Emily Henry book again because they all felt the same. She very much.
That's
Yep.
fair.
But then, Caitlin, lots of talk about Great Big Beautiful Life right now. And I know I have liked at least 2 of the books that I've read before out of the 4 books. So I was like, okay,
And
let's
that's
do
what I
this one.
find funny. That's what I find funny is that you're like, I'm never reading Emily Henry
I know.
again, but I've already read most of everything she's written.
I know. I think I was just like, I think Happy Place, I was like, this is just ridiculous. Why am I reading? Like, this was not a good book. It was not a good book.
Probably my least favorite. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed all of them. But again, because I'm going in with the mindset of this is light, this is fun.
Yeah.
There's a few struggles, but we'll get through it
Yeah.
and everybody will end up happily ever after type thing. So I go in with that kind of like, this is a good palate cleanser.
Yeah.
This is and
that is what I kind of was looking for, right? Because I didn't read cozy palate cleansing books after I finished Alchemized. I literally read a bunch of like murder and like
Some
dark romance like book,
cozy.
right? I know. So we, and that was what the folks that like answered our stories on Instagram said, like, hey, like, let's do like something that's like more of a comfort read, right? And it is February, Valentine's Day, the month of love. Like, why not go with a romance? I am now regretting my decision. We're still gonna read this because I watched People We Meet on Vacation on Netflix and it was terrible.
Oh, see, I thought it was cute.
Oh, gosh, it was such a bad movie. Oh, my Lord. No, it wasn't cute. It wasn't cute. Yeah, they were too busy trying to just be hot.
there's nothing wrong with trying to be hot.
No, but that's what they had no depth. They were relying on their looks, and I don't think they did. It was not a great book to film adaptation because I liked that book.
Right.
I liked that book, and I definitely think that
very true to the book.
But I feel like it was a great book to have on in the background while I did other things because it wasn't good enough to pay attention to.
See, I watched it with another friend. Like, I watched it with a friend, and it was kind of like a girls' night, like easy.
Yeah. Oh, I made popcorn
it was
and
exactly
everything.
what we wanted and needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. And I liked that it stayed very true to the book. And and it's funny because I read it so long ago that I'm like, I remember the premise, and I was like, I was like, oh yes, okay, I remember this now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And my friend hadn't read the book or didn't really know anything about it. And it probably also didn't hurt that the other movie, movie we watched the next night, was absolutely dreadful. So that maybe pushed this one to be but I enjoyed it. Again, it was, going in with the expectation that this is going to be just fluff.
I gave it a thumbs down on Netflix, and it takes a lot for me to give a thumbs down on Netflix. I was like,
I liked it.
No, not for me. Was not good.
Cute.
The book's good though. That is one of the books that I liked. I actually think it was Beach Read and The People We Meet on Vacation were the two Emily Henry books I liked the most. So yeah. Anyway,
have you watched Emily in Paris on Netflix?
No, why would I watch that?
But that's the thing. So that's where that's what, to me, People We Meet on Vacation, it was exactly mirrored at similar vibe of Emily in Paris.
Well, but I liked the book, and then the movie was bad.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but
I know. Anyway, and I think I gave the book 4 stars. Yeah. I liked the book. So now I'm just I'm regretting my decision, but we will read it, and maybe I'll just be really surprised. And maybe this will redeem Emily Henry in my eyes, and I will take her off of my do not read list.
And let's just, again, for the record, state that this was a book you recommended that we could potentially read.
I did recommend it.
Going outside of your comfort zone.
I know. I'm trying to,
I like it.
I like trying to embrace new things. So, yeah. Anyway, so we'll post on socials about when we'll actually stream for this, because I haven't started it yet. So I won't have it ready in a week, would be my guess. But we can kind of figure that out and announce when we will read it. So it could be kind of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If you are reading, or if you're in the chat with us and you have something picked out for February, let us know what that is, and we can chat about it. Buffy, I see Butcher and Blackbird. You said it is your next read, so I think that'll be interesting. I look forward to hearing from you on what you think, and how many stars you give it. And then, check out our socials account. We are also streaming. If you're joining us on Twitch, we are also now live streaming on YouTube at the same time. So if you prefer one platform over the other, definitely join on the one that you prefer. Share with any other book lovers that you think might enjoy, hanging out with us and talking books. But yeah, I think that's probably it for today. Okay.
Sounds good. I'm glad we got to, also, just for the record, hardcover book. Little thinner.
Did you weigh it?
No. But, why does this thing have to weigh? There's no...
It doesn't have the same amount of pages. No. Find me a 1,000-page book, like the Stephen King one, and then take out your sourdough kitchen scale and let's do a science experiment.
There's still no reason for that book to be
it is quite heavy. I agree with you.
No reason.
Oh well. Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, everyone.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks.